I'll go over gold right now.
The entire week of PA. Lately I have been dabbling in futures. Elijah kind of got me into it, but so I haven't really touched Forex pairs, but if you guys want me to go over other pairs, just let me know. Um, but yeah, let's get started. All right, so gold. Quite interesting, honestly. All right, so you can see that gold, I mean, if you start of the week, that was the start of the week, right? Yeah. Okay, start of the week, we got all these lows being swept. Okay. So what ended up happening was obviously gold created all-time highs like how it always does. And then let's see if I could delete the other ones. Okay, boom. Came down lower, swept all this right here. Okay. Uh, and then left that intact. Anyhow, swept that and then started moving to the upside. You can see Asia. You can already see Asia. What it did was it respected these lows over here and then went higher. Okay, just leaving liquidity to the downside. And then you see this as well, right? Comes into this area, trap, comes all the way lower. But yeah. So let's talk about London session. London says around 3 p.m. my time. So right here. All right, so what ends up happening during London is highs get taken out. So honestly, not the greatest thing to be looking at yet. Um, or I mean, not the greatest PA. High gets taken out and then comes lower. So 3 o'clock opens up, which is London Open. Right here, goes higher, takes out the high. So obviously, if you're looking at it in terms of like where the actual liquidity is, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's a ton of liquidity below here. Okay. Um, and then we got yeah, we also got this up here. Okay, so if you go over here, you got this little area right here, right? Let's see if we can see on the 15. Nothing crazy. You don't see anything on the 15 or the 30. But anyhow, on the 5 minute time frame, it's an inducement high. So um yeah, so just understanding that this whole area is a trap, but we can see price action come lower for all of that liquidity. Okay. So it is playing with engineered liquidity, but it is on the higher time frames. So we can see a relative push down, clearing all that liquidity first before coming for the highs. Plus yeah, pretty much. So also the market has just been leaving liquidity. So I mean it's not a bad thing to do, like looking for shorts. After this 5 minute inducement high went out. Personally though, like I wouldn't be taking longs um towards this right here because when the high gets taken out, honestly, it doesn't have to, it can just leave liquidity, right? It could just keep this intact if it wanted to, and then came lower. So that way that's the reason why during London, not the greatest PA, right? It comes for this low right here, and it makes sense why it went higher, right? So you just have to play it by eye over here and see that okay, the market took out the highs, came down lower, took this low out, a little BOS to the downside.
So you kind of have to wait out until the market comes back for the high again. And then yeah, so that's what ends up happening. Takes out the high, but now you can see that it's just inching higher, right? And you don't want to be shorting every time it inches higher. You want to see where it's reacting from. And then once that whole area is taken out, you can potentially look for the move down or basically a move towards the liquidity on the opposite side. So so yeah. The market comes here, moves lower, respects this low over here, builds more liquidity to the downside, and then starts moving to the upside right over here. And then ever since you can see goes lower. All right, so timing wise, I believe this was 6:30 a.m. So it is still London, pre New York. And then if you go to lower time frames like the one, see if there was some sort of entry that could have been taken. Okay, so all right. All right, so basically, what I can see over here, there is a okay, this happened right here. Okay, you got your liquidity block. Market moves lower, respects the high. Okay, moves lower, builds all this, and then moves to the upside, right? So, in all honesty, if you were to enter, the safest thing to do is enter over here and then stops above, right? That liquidity block. And then obviously market moves lower, takes out the low. But you have to understand this whole area right here is the trap, right? Let me mark it out. This whole area right here is the trap. Okay. So if you weren't too confident in taking it from here, because you think it can go higher or whatever, um, you can just wait out and wait for more PA to play out per se. So there you go. You got your liquidity block over here as well. Now it does take out the low, okay? But you have to understand, like I said, the whole time it's been building liquidity below here, right? So that's where the actual liquidity is. That's where buyers' liquidity actually is, you know? So even though it takes out these lows over here, right? You can see this low over here was taken out. Um, it doesn't have to come for what do you call it? This high over here, right? Because all it's doing is just coming lower, right? Into where the liquidity is. So right there. There you go. And it's taking out some sort of liquidity to the upside, moves lower. You get what I mean? So essentially this isn't the worst entry. Understanding that the actual liquidity is right here. So this I wouldn't mind taking, but I will keep probably a bigger stop loss just in case. And then potentially ride it all the way to the lows. Well, wherever the liquidity is. So like obviously I'll be taking partials at structural points. So this right here would be one. Or even to be honest, I'll take off some here because you got this high taken out and then went higher. So built some liquidity there. You can also see this as well. You can see some reactions from there, right? So I'll take some partials off there a little bit off the position maybe, if it makes sense to, or I would be going break even, one or the other. Now, I'm not sure if this high got taken out. Let's see. gets taken out. Okay, that's pretty decent. All right, so market takes out this higher, comes lower, builds more liquidity to the downside, and then um doesn't really sweep anything, just dives. This was this is during New York, honestly. So London, I'd say a little bit slow PA. You'd have to wait for more PA to play out and not force anything because you can't really pinpoint exactly when it's gonna flip. Obviously, you mark this out. You wait for what price action actually tells you. Um, there you go. Respects it, moves lower, builds that liquidity, takes it out. You can start looking for shorts. Honestly, not the most. I mean, this works out, right? But I like to see more things happen before I answer. That's just me though. But if you were to answer here during London or right before New York, you kind of, even though, I mean, actually, you could just keep your stops above here and then target the lows, right? Where the liquidity is, or majority of the liquidity is. And then you get a decent RR as well, right? You get a 1 to 5 out of that. This one as well, you get a nice 1 to 7. I would recommend taking partials though, or at least going break even as soon as this low is taken out, and then or at least reduce your stop, right? Because it makes sense too. But yeah, pretty much that was for New York on Monday. Shorts to the lows to that liquidity right there. Understanding that now buyers have been trapped. So if you look at it on the 5, damn. Yeah, if you look at it on the 5, you got all that liquidity that was built up, finally got taken out, right? There you go. Market moves lower, takes it out, and then starts moving to the upside. So, after taking out the low, you can see the whole time it's just been building liquidity, right? Let me take this out. Delete those for a second. All this right here, right? You got that build up right there. Going lower. You got that build up, moves lower, right? Takes all that liquidity. But the thing is, it hasn't really properly induced buyers before taking out the lows, right? It just came from here, it just dropped down, took all the lows out. So you kind of I wouldn't recommend entering it um as soon as the lows get taken out. I would actually wait for a little bit more PA, especially because there is still liquidity to the downside. So at that given moment, I wouldn't really recommend what do you call it? I wouldn't really recommend a move to the upside, like looking for longs to the upside yet. Um, anyhow, you can see a little short-term play did happen from here to here. You got your BOS to the upside. Finally, buyers are induced now, right? Um, and then comes lower, traps the buyers. And you can see this little sluggish price action, right? All that build up to liquidity. Takes all that out, comes to the extreme. Okay, takes this out as well. And then once it comes to the extreme, you can see it start to move to the upside. Just delete that. Boom. Starts moving to the upside. Now, because this happened right here, yeah, I wouldn't really mind that one right there. You can also see market moves to the upside right here. Does clear this out, okay? But comes into this area right here where basically it's a trap, but you can see some reactions from here because it's a liquidity block. And there you go. You got this BOS to the upside, inducing buyers. Buyers get trapped, and then you got your liquidity block below. Entry. That's showing Asia though. Um, and then the market starts moving to the upside. And Tuesday,
Hey, Abid, sorry to interrupt.
yeah,
Just
no
before we
problem.
move on, and it's I did type in the chat. I just didn't want to be rude and unmute, but I did say if I could unmute. Is that cool?
Oh yeah, yeah, no problem. What's up?
So I'm going to try and ask a couple of questions and get you to answer them. We're spending time with Marco. I generally know, but I want if somebody watches this back, I want them to kind of be like, right, that was a relevant question. Am I okay to draw on the chat as well?
Yeah, yeah, no problem.
Can we go to the left-hand side? Because I completely and utterly get why you were showing here. It makes complete and utter sense to me. Um, but this line here on
You
liquidity
want me to move
to the left, please. Yeah.
Yeah, what's up?
So I get it, right? Because obviously we've got this ascending channel up here. But at what stage did you decide that afterwards this would be a good target to aim for? Was it this one? Was it this one? Potentially this one? Or did you just see when you were watching this, was it just an ascending channel and you were like, right, this was the point that it started here, and then this was the respecting of the low. So potentially we could see a move into that. How did your eyes see this?
Exactly like that. So basically, obviously, you can see, um, this happens right here. That gets taken out. Market comes lower, takes this out. However, this is with structure, right? So now this is just structural liquidity.
Yeah,
You get what I mean? So essentially, this is where my eyes would be because it's structural liquidity. Um, and then honestly, you could just see it here as well, right? You got this respecting the
yeah, that
lows.
one there
I mean,
definitely during
you can
Asia.
argue it's respect to this low right here. But remembering that structural liquidity is important, right? You got that BOS to the upside, comes respects the low, builds that liquidity. So this, even though it reacted from here, and this gets taken out,
That's
you
still
can't
fine.
really, yeah, and plus I wouldn't really classify this as a liquidity block or anything. You get what I mean? So it's not like, what do you call it? It's not like a area that I would be too interested in, like taking anything from. You get what I mean?
Yeah, because I went on a bit of a rant in the general, and people must be like, "Who is this idiot?" But the one thing that I see people like asking the most questions on is we don't know where to target the liquidity. So you say it in a number of ways. So I was just trying to get it out of you, like, why was this low relevant for you to see? And again, it makes complete sense to me. But hopefully, somebody watching this back, they'll be like, "Ah, now I get it." Because there
Well,
was some
in
good
terms of
examples.
targets, sorry for cutting you off. In terms of
Are you right?
targets, um, if you're unsure, is okay. Number one, most of the things people just get too, I'd say, induced into like targeting the lowest part or whatever. At the end of the day, if it makes sense for you to take partials, you always take partials and um not call it a day, but and you just ride it, take some partials and leave the rest to run, right? So
Yeah,
understanding that, okay, there is liquidity here. So if you took a good decent amount of partials here, you still get a 1 to 6, right? So you can see there's a ton of liquidity that gets left below here. So whether it comes for this low or this low, right? You should be partialing at structural lows, right? And I mentioned even partialing here because this took out the high. So this is a structural low. You get what I mean? And you
yeah,
can see some reactions from here that can possibly even come higher, taking out these, right? That's why I said at least go break even or something. Manage it accordingly as soon as this low gets taken out. Because that's essentially where the liquidity was being built
yeah,
before this high on the 5 minute was taken out. So if gold decides, you know what, um, what do you call it? I'm just gonna leave liquidity to the downside for later and come for this high, what do you call it, trap buyers here and then go higher. Now, obviously, for us, not really longs wouldn't be in play for us at least, or for me at least. I wouldn't be looking for longs if this gets taken out, right? I'll be looking for longs after all the liquidity is taken out, right? Or not all, but like basically where the liquidity is, right? So if you go to like the 15-minute time frame, it just looks a lot better. Let me just delete everything for a second. There you go. You got your trap area. So you can look for longs towards there after the liquidity has been swept, right? And the problem is like people don't realize. this right here is very important. All that liquidity, like that happens. You get what I mean? Like it takes out the high, comes lower, respects the low, builds that liquidity to the downside. So it leaves it there for later. And then
Yeah.
obviously during Asia respects this low. And why does it respect it? You can say liquidity block, right? That's why it gets respected over there. You also see what is it? The little trap happen over here before taking it out. Now, personally, obviously, if I was trading during Asia or whatever, I wouldn't be taking a long here because I still see liquidity below, right? This right here is very important to me. Structural liquidity is very, very important to me, right? I need that to be taken out before I can take anything. And also I need to see what do you call it? Like when it's coming lower to that liquidity point, I need to see some reactions and like inducing buyers of some sort before taking out the low, right? So like for example, let's say from here the market went higher, took this out, and then moves lower. I'll really like that. You get me?
That was my next question actually, because this
Yeah.
makes complete no sense. I was going to say you just said in this on the 5 minute or 1 minute time frame, you would like to have seen something else. Could you let us like what would your eyesight naturally be drawn to? What would be like a really good example? What you've just drawn here, I take it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
if that happens right there and then it comes and takes out this low, then okay, I'm more confident in the longs happening, if you get what I mean. Because at
yeah.
the end of the day, hopping on a Monday, seeing so I'm just gonna go to the 1 hour time frame. Uh seeing all this liquidity get taken out, right? Sellers got induced, but like sometimes the market needs to take out more liquidity, right? We'll actually never know entirely when it's gonna flip bullish. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it leaves liquidity here to the upside and then just go lower, take out some more liquidity. There is, you know, liquidity below here as well. Look how I just respected it and then moved higher. So, personally, what do you call it? I would like to see this happen for me to be more confident, right? So that little BOS to the upside on lower time frames.
Yeah.
I would like to see buyers get induced before the low gets taken out for me to be confident in any sort of longs, right? Yeah, we do got that liquidity block. It is
Liquidity
very,
block. Yeah,
yeah,
it just literally by a pip, I think, misses it.
yeah.
But no, that's good.
Unfortunately,
That's
that
what I
for
was after.
me doesn't like give me that confidence. Like
Yeah.
if it's a very clean looking liquidity block, then I'll have more confidence in terms of like it going to the upside. Um, but yeah, pretty much, right? So it
No, that's cool,
respects
man.
it.
Thanks. Thanks for the insight.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll see the market just leave liquidity to the upside and then come for all the liquidity needs to take out from the downside and then start moving to the upside,
Because
right?
what you've just said is what's thrown me this week, right? Because it did this and then it did this. So I was like, we've got liquidity in the low and at the high. So gold this week for me, I was a little bit unsure.
Yeah, so that's why, like me, for example, I would have liked to see this to happen right there. Now it doesn't do that, but then it does it after taking out this right here. And honestly, after taking this out, I wouldn't be looking for anything down here, right? So takes out the high. Okay, comes takes out the low. Now, if I mark this out, cross, that's where buyers got induced. See that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
instead
Yeah.
of it
Yeah.
happening up here, it ended up happening down here, right? So buyers got induced right there. They get trapped, and then there's the move starts moving. I mean, then it starts moving to the upside. Unfortunately, this was during Asia, but this I wouldn't mind, right? Like I explained, this I wouldn't take actually. If I'm being completely honest, I don't like looking for trades all the way at the extreme. So even though that happens, I personally wouldn't be looking for that or any entries down there.
And
But as soon as this happens, right, the market comes into this whole trap area, right? And then comes takes out the high over here. There you go, buyers induced. Look how it comes here, gives more reactions from there. Just engineers that liquidity right there, and then comes lower, sweeps all that liquidity. I wouldn't mind that, right? And then we also got that liquidity block below.
Yeah, so
We
this
got this
leads me to
below,
my final
right?
question, which is how important was that, this reaction to here and here? Because it's exactly the same as what he's done here in my original question. It's that liquidity then that's left it, right? Because you've got the trap and then you've got the respect to it. If that
Yeah.
poked above, for example, would you then not take the long because it's a breaker structure under here, right? We'd have to leave that alone because we don't trade with that. This respecting of this area is actually really important for us.
Yeah, facts. So
Yeah,
if this
cool.
got taken out, right? If the high got taken out over here, now I'm not looking for anything. I know this is during Asia, but let's say this was New York. If this high got
Mhm.
taken out, I'm not looking for anything because now we got liquidity above here, we got liquidity below here. I'm not interested in guessing which liquidity needs to get taken out first. I'd rather wait for liquidity to get taken out one side first and then trade towards the other,
Yeah, for sure.
right?
No, thanks, Rabid. That was really cool, man.
No problem. Yeah, so just delete all that for now. Okay, so yeah. Oh my God. All right. So I'm gonna keep it marked out. All right, so starts moving to the upside. This was 1 a.m. basically, still Asia. And then you got London right here. Okay, so this is a valid area to take it from. For me, at least, because we got all this liquidity here, right? So any reactions from here, honestly, just a trap, right? Because now it looks like after taking out this and it starts moving to the upside, longs look good towards this liquidity right above. And then what ends up happening? Okay. So low gets taken out. Okay. You got your liquidity block. And then the market starts moving to the upside. Now, certain things you have to take into consideration, okay? As soon as this happens, right, this high gets taken out. Now I would be waiting, right? I need to see more PA. What ends up happening is market leaves these highs, takes out the low, right? Takes out some sort of liquidity, moves higher, and then starts moving to the downside, right? So it comes into this whole area, right? This whole trap area, whatever, and starts moving to the downside. And what you see is it respects this low right here, right? Respects that low, and then comes, takes out the high right here, inducing buyers. And you can even see when it comes here, this little what do you call it? Wick right here, indicating that lower time frames got some reactions. I mean, you could go to the 1 minute and check it out as well. But yeah, so there you go. Market comes into this area, you get some reactions out of here. You got your BOS, some reactions out of there, respects the high as well, right? Just leaving that liquidity. And then finally, you see the run lower, right? So honestly, in terms of entries, after taking out that low, liquidity block below, and then targeting the highs. There you go. That would be one sort of entry. And then obviously, like how I always mention, taking partials at structural points is important. So you'd have to take some partials up here. Honestly, there's a couple ways you can enter. If RR doesn't make sense, like let's say you're like, okay, I want to target here. If the RR does not make sense, right? Then you can just enter it lower. And you also got this as well, right? You got the liquidity block below. You know, you can at least how do I say it? You can enter from the top of this up here, right? Because this is basically the move. This was the move that continued higher. So you can say liquidity block starts from here and just enter right there. That makes sense in terms of RR, right? Just waiting a little bit. Not getting to, I'd say, not catching FOMO by this little push up right here. And yeah, just waiting for that price action to come into your area. Take the trade. RR makes sense. Take some partials above here. And then ride it to the upside. So this happens during London, right around 3:55 a.m. New York time. And then finally, like I mentioned, all this right here is a trap, right? You got all this liquidity above here. So any sort of longs, as long like coming out of this area, is valid. So basically, you want to see liquidity being built. And then as long as it stays below these this high right here, if you see a run down clearing that liquidity, it is a valid long, right? Now, same thing goes here. You can wait for it to come all the way down here. And then take it. Doesn't matter as long as the RR makes sense to you, right? Personally, I don't go for like 1-2s or any of that. So I mean, this wouldn't make sense to me. But yeah, there you go. Enter right there or even higher. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. As long as it gives you a 1-3, honestly, for me, that's good. I know some people, I mean, some people might take 1-2s, but that's just not me. And then just targeting the highs, right? So understanding after this high gets taken out right here, right? Couple things to be honest. This is previous daily high. So you can see some big reactions from there, possibly even coming lower and taking all this liquidity and then taking out the liquidity down below here as well. Right? So that's why it's important to be taking partials. Right? Because we're here to make money and we're not here to be right all the time. Okay, we don't have to be right. As long as we are securing as much as we can or extracting as much as we can from the market, that's all that really matters. Anyways, so yeah. Market moves to the upside, takes out this right here, this high right here. Just leave that line. The high gets taken out. And then as soon as that high gets taken out, take at least 90% off your position. And then once the market comes lower, right? I mean, you go break even by then. But yeah, let's talk about the PA over here. Just delete all this. All right, so I believe the shorts happened during New York. Okay, so high over here gets taken out. So honestly, any longs, now that this high gets taken out, it is previous daily high as well. So any longs that happen before all this liquidity is usually a trap. You get what I mean? So honestly, I wouldn't be taking shorts here. You're just kind of guessing that this high needs to get respected again, which it doesn't. But yeah, So honestly, all of New York would just be, I'd say, building liquidity, right? Because I would want this low to get taken out, at least bare minimum. And honestly, I wouldn't even want to short towards there because we got this as well, right? So New York, honestly, wouldn't be looking for anything. We got this low intact. We got liquidity below there. I mean, we got all this liquidity as well, right? So once it starts moving to the downside, um, I can see why people would get induced into selling. Number one, high gets taken out. You got this liquidity below here. But if you're unsure, you should be staying out, right? We're here to take clean setups, obviously. The most I'd say the most probable setups. Now, if you don't know where price action is going, it's no longer probable, right? To you, because you don't know where it's going. You don't understand where the market might be heading and stuff. So honestly, best thing to do in that scenario is just wait it out. Wait for a clean opportunity. If it gives you one, you take it. If it doesn't give you one, then it's unfortunate, right? Anyhow, what ends up happening is all of New York is just a short, not all of New York, but from 10 a.m. EST starts shorting to the downside. And then you also got, I mean, honestly, the shorts don't even look that clean. I'm on the 5-minute time frame. I don't see any possible shorts. Yeah, pretty much. New York's just cooked at this point. Comes lower, respects the highs, and then this was very, very important. Like I said, because this high got taken out, I would have to see at least bare minimum this low get taken out, right? And that's what ends up happening. But before it takes it out is the important part. So you can see it comes all the way to the extreme, right? Comes into this low right here. And then you get this bullish move, right? Get this bullish move out of there, taking out these highs, right? All these highs right here, inducing buyers, okay? And then you got that right there. Honestly, you could be a little crackhead about it as well. And mark out this high. I just wouldn't. It's nice to see, like like when I mark out this high, for example, and I see it come into it, goes lower. Nice to see, but I wouldn't be taking any trades from there like that. But yeah, market moves lower from there, traps the buyers. Okay, so that's why I said it was important, right? We need to see where liquidity is being built, so we can see it just coming for this liquidity right here, this low. But the market's building liquidity to the upside. Right, so it's building that liquidity to the upside. And then as soon as it comes into the extreme, reacts from there, okay, induces buyers. And we need to see buyers get trapped before we can look for any sort of longs or whatnot. So there you go. Market comes, takes out the high, inducing buyers. And then finally comes, traps the buyers. Okay, as you can see, buyers got trapped right there. And then it just starts flying to the upside again. Damn. Asia's not bad, honestly. Doesn't look that bad. But anyhow, comes for inducement high right here. And then starts moving to the downside. Now, like I said, a couple things to be honest. You got this liquidity here. But like I always say, I need to see reactions from certain areas so I know liquidity is being built there. Now this high got taken out,
I need the low, like bare minimum, I need this to get taken out unless it like does something where over here comes for the low, inches higher, and then takes this out. Then I wouldn't mind, right? Because then it's no longer with structure. But any pullbacks from here, like it takes out inducement high, so it can come as deep as like I mean, there's not much liquidity here, right? My bad. There's not much liquidity from this point to this point. So you just have to wait and see what price action tells you. Honestly, like I wouldn't even know where price action is headed as soon as it does this. Like from here, I wouldn't really know. Anyhow, market moves to the upside, right? I believe when was this? Yeah, this was during London, honestly. Interesting. Let me see something. Yeah, so it shorts out of there, builds that liquidity to the upside. Leaves liquidity there for later. Comes here. Now, like I said, I wouldn't know where price actions are going when it's here right here. So I would actually stay out, right? And then wait for more PA to develop before I can take anything. And then you can see it taking out the lows over here. Doesn't move to the upside. You can see this as well. That happens. Unfortunately, nothing I would take in terms of entries. Starts moving to the upside, clears this liquidity right here. Okay. After it clears that liquidity, now you have to understand now it's just building a ton of liquidity to the upside. We also got a ton of liquidity to the downside as well. Right. So that's just it's just one of those days where you would have to sit out. Possibly look at a different pair. Because at the end of the day, we're not here to guess, right? I mean, if we're unsure where the market is headed, or if there's liquidity to both sides, the probability just goes down. So, if we're looking for high probability setups, we don't get that if we're not, what's it called? If we're unsure of where price action is headed, especially when there's liquidity on both sides. So yeah, I mention all the time. Always, it's better to sit out when you're unsure, and it's always better to sit out when there's both liquidity on both sides. And yeah, pretty much. So what ends up happening is from here, now you got all this liquidity here as well, right? Yeah, liquidity here. You can also argue on lower time frames, maybe the 1 minute or whatnot. Let's see. Yeah. 1 minute time frame, you got this as well. BOS. Okay. Does inch lower though. But yeah, comes takes it out, moves lower, that's completely fine. But now there's liquidity above here. Okay. Now that there's liquidity above there, it's just building a lot of that. You can potentially see some sort of logo. Buyers get trapped and then look for buys happen, right? So you can see right here, market moves lower, takes out this lower here. Okay. Comes into here. And then once it comes into here, look at this right here. Boom. Takes out the highs. Inducing buyers. And it comes, traps the buyers. Okay. We also got a liquidity block below as well. And then you can see, let's go to the 1 minute time frame. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. As soon as the lows were taken out, started moving to the upside, and look at this. Right, you got this right here. Respects it, and then boom. This was very late, in the day.
Happened around 12 New York time. This is exactly where I entered. Get my stops below here. And then pretty much I was targeting the highs, but unfortunately, actually, that's not exactly where I entered. As soon as the low got taken out, I see some bullish reactions. I entered like that.
I took an L just before that, just in just in this PA here. So I saw wanted to see the buyers trapped, and then I saw this here. So I was like, all right, so now they've got trapped here. So I thought, right, I'll enter just at the low. But then I didn't wait for this to be taken to the left. So because
Oh,
I already
okay.
took a lot, because I took a loss on it here, I left it alone. And then as the time went on, and then I looked at it after, and I was like, you twat.
Yeah, so me personally, what was it? This price action was just it was a very annoying to look at. You can see right here, builds liquidity to the downside, moves to the upside, inducing buyers, right? Comes lower. Like over here, the whole time, it just kept building liquidity, right? It's been respecting highs the whole time. You can see highs got respected right here. Another time highs got respected was right here. And it's just respecting highs each time, right? So it's just a very, it's a annoying day of price action. But yeah, anyways, market comes to this low, builds that liquidity, moves to the upside, inducing buyers, whatever, and then starts selling off, trapping the buyers, right? And then you got this as well, right? This low gets taken out. Now, honestly, I wasn't too convinced. Um, so I just waited for a bullish move. I believe I entered somewhere around here. Um, and then just targeting, or was it a bit lower? Yeah, somewhere around here, to be honest, right there. And then I targeted the highs, right? But then I was looking at the timing, and honestly, I took this on futures, so I had to go break even or at least close because, I mean, they close you out. I think I forgot what time it was, but yeah, so pretty much that's what ends up happening. I got tagged BE. Yeah, because I went BE. As soon as the high got taken, I was like, I can't be asked to look at the markets. Just gonna go break even and just chill out. Takes me all break even, unfortunate. Starts moving to the upside. And
Abid, bro.
yeah, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, bro. Can you zoom out a little bit?
Zoom in or zoom out?
Zoom out.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro.
You want me to go on the 5 minute time frame?
No, you're good, bro. You're taking long from here, but this liquidity block is already being mitigated like uh 2 times already. So you're okay taking trades from that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not taking it exactly from this liquidity block, right? Because I don't know if this liquidity that block is gonna hold, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if that's gonna hold. That's why I'm not taking it from there. I'm waiting for price to develop and like what's it called? I'm waiting for price to basically indicate to me it's ready to go higher, right? And that's why I said I wasn't convinced when this low got taken out. I wasn't convinced right away. I waited for some bullish PA and I entered somewhere around here. I can't remember exactly where, but I did wait for a candle closure. Just for react to that liquidity block. Yeah, pretty much. I'm not if I'm not convinced, and like for example, this happened, low gets taken out. I'm not convinced. I'm waiting for PA to just like give me some reactions, and just convince me or induce me, one or the other. There you go. You got PA closer right here. I think that's how I took it, or was it off the 5 minute? Can't remember entirely. I think I probably took a year. Can't remember. But yeah, nonetheless, I took it as soon as there was some bullish price action, and then obviously I get taken out break even, like almost right away.
Hmm.
Um,
All right.
and yeah, pretty much I get tagged out break even. It's completely fine. I'm not really too interested in guessing that these lows have to be, kept intact. So yeah, that was the trade I took, and stopped me out break even and then flew in my direction. I woke up and I was like, wow, that's nice. And honestly, what a week. All that happens. Finally takes all of the high. And pretty much that was Wednesday, I believe. Yeah, that was Wednesday. So Thursday opens up now. Yeah, gold was on a mission. That was crazy. So Thursday opens up. I believe I was waiting for, what was I waiting for on gold? Let's go on the 1 hour. Yeah, basically this high. As soon as that high got taken out, this was during Asia. Yeah, this was during Asia. You can see comes lower. Okay. As soon as the high gets taken out, comes lower, takes this out, and then starts moving to the upside. Now, in terms of London session, where's London even open? Oh, this was during London. Okay. Yeah, honestly, London, I would not be looking for anything. It looks absolutely ridiculous. This is all this liquidity here. Expecting prices just gonna keep shooting up is just not something I'll be doing. And yeah, just keeps moving higher. And then you can see over here, when was this? This was, yeah, Thursday, 5 a.m. Still London. Moves to the upside. Takes out all these highs. Comes lower. Takes out the low. And then starts moving to the upside again. But we got all this liquidity to the downside, so I would not be looking for anything at all. Like, it just doesn't look nice. There's liquidity still below. I don't really like it. We also got sellers got trapped as well. Came all the way to the extreme. So yeah, no entries, to be honest. I don't love any longs in and out of there. And as you can see, highs just get taken out. Boom, right there. And yeah, so I'd honestly not look for anything on gold after that. Unfortunately, it just moves to the upside without giving any sort of good or proper entry. And then obviously you got Friday. Gold is, on Pluto at that point. You don't want to be looking at price action at all. And yeah, pretty much that is it for gold though. Anyone want me to go over any other pairs? I can look at Nas if you want. Any of that, let me know. All right. Let me just add it to the list. All right. Clean from Nas. Let me just delete everything. Where does the week start? Thursday, Wednesday. All right, so the week starts over here. That sell-off was absolutely insane. All right, let's go higher. Daily time frame. All right, so starting off from the daily time frame, we have all this liquidity that got swept, and then it comes for this right here, trapping sellers, and then moves lower. So that's basically what ends up happening. We do have a ton of liquidity to the downside, so it makes sense why we would be looking for shorts after the highs get taken out. That's one thing. We also got this as well, right? We got all that. Market moves to the upside. Traps sellers, so we can possibly see what do you call it? PA coming for the lows. Yes, that was very intricate. I did not see that until now.
I sent that to Marco just before this PA was up there because obviously I took shorts from the high, put it on my Insta, which were very nice. But yeah,
Oh, you
that's
took it from all the way up here?
yeah, I hit the top move.
Oh, okay, okay.
And that was one of the things that I saw that drew my eyes to it. So and 4 hour as well, yeah. 4 hour liquidity block. I was like, that is nice.
Yeah, that's on the 4 hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty nice, honestly. In terms of shorts, let me look at some PA. I did take something on NQ. We'll see. All right. Okay. So, Monday opens up 3 a.m. Obviously, London session, just moving to the upside. We got high get taken over here. Yeah, I wouldn't be looking for anything on a Monday. This looks like it's on a mission to the highs. But yeah, that was all of Monday, I believe. And we got Tuesday. Tuesday opens up and tells you quite a bit of things. Oh, this is a 15-minute time frame. Okay, so you can see there you go. Buyers induced. You can also see that out of this whole area. There you go. Right? The trap happens, comes lower, respects the low, builds more liquidity, comes higher. Now it leaves liquidity to the upside, and then comes down and takes out the lows. Abby, can you analyze? Yeah, I'll do that in a bit. So there you go. Builds that liquidity, leaves liquidity to the highs, and then comes and sweeps the lows. Okay. And the important part was, see, this is the stuff I like to see, right? When it comes into what do you call it? Lows, especially after this happening right here. Okay, inducing buyers. I like to see this happening, right? Essentially the trap before taking out the liquidity. Now it comes lower, okay? Has that BOS to the downside, moves higher, respects the high. So now there's a liquidity above, okay? We got liquidity above, sweeps the lows. I believe this was, yeah, during London. Let's check the 4 hour real quick. I want to see something. Yes, so that is pretty nice. We got 4 hour low gets swept. So basically that line was the previous 4 hour candle. And then taps into that imbalance. Gotta run family talk. Yeah. Have a nice weekend, Elijah. And yeah, so moves lower, takes out that 4 hour candle right here. Taps into that imbalance. Okay. And then we also got liquidity above, as I showed on the 5-minute time frame. Unfortunately, there's no liquidity block over here for me to take it from. So if I was trading London, I would not be able to take that from the extreme. I'd have to wait for more PA, and yeah, that looks very unfortunate.
Abby,
Uh,
this would be a good example of why you wouldn't take it because we've got so many examples of why you would. But do you want to break down why you wouldn't take that there?
what, the lungs?
Yeah,
From down here?
yeah.
Oh yeah, I explained it. There's no liquidity block over here for me to take it from.
Okay, cool.
I mean, we got this right below, but it just needs to come lower. Like, I'm not gonna be entering here and keeping my stops all the way below here. It just doesn't make sense to me, especially because my target is up here. You know what I mean? So I'm not here going for a one-to-one.
Yeah, sure. Okay, cool.
Let's see, 1 minute time frame. Yeah, so as soon as the high gets taken out over here, I am no longer interested in taking it, even though it takes us out. I mean, some people I've seen still take it as soon as it happens. Unfortunately, that's not something I'll be taking at all because high gets taken out. You got buyers induced. You are sitting on the 1 minute time frame, so you can't literally like what's it called? Um, like you'll get induced a bunch of times. So honestly, I would be waiting for more PA. High gets taken out, respects the lows, starts moving to the upside. The only thing I can see is, yeah, this is, uh, let me see. Yeah, the only thing you could possibly do is something like this. Comes into this high right here. After coming into that high, takes out the lows. But the thing is, I wouldn't be sure on which low it needs to take out. So yeah, I would not be sure at all which low it needs to take out. Maybe this, because that's where it got respected. You got a little imbalance below as well. If you were to take that though, or let's say you even took it as soon as this low got taken out, you'd have to keep your stops below the liquidity block. You keep it below here maybe, because we got this. A little intricate, but saves you on a few R. And then just riding it to the highs. That is the only thing, to be honest, I can possibly see. And just taking it straight to the highs. Still gives you a nice 1-4. Not bad. But as soon as these highs get taken out, I'll be going break even and stuff. That's just how I'd be managing the position. And yeah, pretty much. And then okay, so that's the other thing. As soon as this high gets taken out, comes into this area, it's a little tricky because sometimes it'll just leave more liquidity if it wants to take more to the downside. We also got, all this right here, pretty much. So I wouldn't be looking for anything as soon as these highs get taken out. And yeah, market moves to the upside, comes for that liquidity over here. This one right here. And then moves to the upside again. Oh, wait, 1 second. Yes. So, let's see. 9 o'clock. Where's 9:30? Yeah, so honestly, since this high to the left got taken out, I need a lot more PA for me to sell right away. Unless you take a higher time frame entry, that's a whole different story. But yeah, I need to see more PA before I look for any sort of shorts to the downside. Because it takes out such a major liquidity point, and then just heading straight to the 1 minute or the 5 minute is never a good idea. Let me just, where's that line? Give me anxiety. Okay, this gets taken out. you can see it moved to the downside, takes out this low over here, moves to the upside. Honestly, New York for that day, I'll just look at it as untradeable, just my opinion. And then next day opens up, and yeah, I remember this PA. All right, so I'll go into it. Honestly, when I was looking at PA, at 9:30, this had already happened. So I understand we got this happening. Okay, that happened right there. And then I seen, you know, it respect the high, come lower, respect it again, and then comes lower and takes out the low. So honestly, I waited for the highs to get taken out before I could look for anything. Fortunately, it doesn't do that. I know I think on the 1 minute time frame something happened. I can't remember. Let's see. Yeah, nothing I like, to be honest. Takes out the low. You got liquidity above. Comes for this high over here, and this is shorting. But yeah, that isn't something I would be taking, because I don't know, I would just be waiting for this high to get taken out. So I wouldn't even catch anything if it was to give anything here. But yeah, pretty much. But it makes sense. Moves lower, leaves that liquidity to the upside, moves lower, completely shorts. Wow. That's just crazy. Anyhow, I know Luke, how'd you take the trade?
So I basically saw what you'd saw. So let me find the annotate. So I saw that it taken out a main liquidity point here. And it was actually one that I posted in the group, and Marco basically said the same as you. It wasn't something that he would have took either. So I had this plotted out to left-hand side, and I know that it taken a major liquidity point. And then if you zoom in on this price action,
Yeah.
I had that essentially as you've marked. Are you on the 5 minute?
Yeah,
okay,
I'm on the 5 minute.
So drop it to the 1. Okay. So my eyes were drawn to two things. So the first thing was it took this high like that, like you've just marked to the left-hand side, just like that. So I was like, all right, so that for me, I was like, the buyers have then been induced, and then it trapped them. And I was like, right, okay, but this has broken the structure. So I was a little bit like, well, is the trade valid or not? And then I messaged Marco because I saw potentially the trade setting up here. And I messaged Marco, and I think I put it in the group. Just before New York Open at this price action, I think Marco took an entry here. So it was round about this price action, pulled back into the left-hand side. And then I saw this as kind of a liquidity block, but it didn't take the high. And Marco's advice afterwards was I would have liked the high to have been taken. And then I saw this buildup of liquidity above, trap, this, and then stop loss just above. I think Marco's perspective on it was, again, I don't really want to talk for him, but I think he said he wouldn't have taken an entry here like I did. He would have waited for something in here or here.
Yeah, the same thing for me, to be honest. Here it's so close to the highs. Sometimes what it does is, I mean, if I want to get intricate about it, sometimes it just does this, right? Takes out the low, and then from here shoots up, finally comes for the highs.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much. I think in terms of entries, I mean, you got this liquidity block above. You can argue low taken and then takes it out again. So now this is a structural high. Unfortunately, I'd be hopping on exactly at New York Stock Exchange open. So I think this was it right here. 9:30.
Yeah. I
Right
just
here.
saw all that as liquidity as well. Back up.
Yeah, so like when I'm looking at price action, it already takes out this low. Now I'm just like, okay, well, I need the highs to get taken out because I'm not really interested in getting induced by it taking out this and then having some sort of short.
No, but you've just drawn my eyes to it actually, because I did see as it was coming down, it's then that, and then that was the break back bullish, and then that was the bearish when it took this low. So I
Yeah.
was like, but I don't know how does that look on the 5 minute times frames? Because when I reviewed it afterwards, yeah, so there you go, look, so that's taken out the low, pull back, lower low, and I was like,
Yeah.
right, well, we're bullish. We're bullish
See,
on the way
this
back up.
this makes sense. If you were to take it from here, like as soon as this high gets taken out, let's say you entered here, you got your liquidity block. That makes sense to me because you got this right here, you got this right here. VOS to the downside, inducing sellers, and then you got sellers getting trapped over here, buyers getting induced. That makes sense to me, but honestly, like I say all the time, I like to see some sort of reactions. Like if it did something like this, that would have been beautiful, but that didn't happen. So,
Yeah.
or even
Nice.
even this right here, from here, like if it just did this, wicked below it, and then moved to the upside, took this out, then I wouldn't mind if I was trading at that time. But honestly, I just hop on at like 9:15. So as soon as this high, as soon as stock open, push price lower. I personally wouldn't really like it, to be honest. I mean, yes, this whole area is a trap, and it hasn't really taken out the trap, so it makes sense why it should short from here. But my eyes were just up here. There's a shit ton of liquidity there,
Yeah.
so I said I ain't taking anything there. And then obviously this whole move happens, and I sat there like, damn.
The final thing for me, Abid, was I saw price just respecting this, and then if you go on the 1 hour time frame, you just got to build up a liquidity there, and I was like, that's it, I'll take it.
Let me see.
So on the 1
Yeah,
minute,
not bad. I mean, let me see the 4 hour. Because I like to see 4 hour high getting taken out. Like that's
yeah, it doesn't
one
do
of
it.
the things I like looking for. So like even if it took out this 4 hour high right here, this one or any of these, like you got this little imbalance above as well. If it takes out 4 hour high, like that's something I really like, or I would really like to take. And then obviously shorts. Unfortunately, Abid was not a part of it. But yeah, at least you got into it.
That was a good move.
Yeah, it
And then
really was.
I looked a bit of a scaling on the 1 minute in this area. See what you think about it. You'll probably say no because it's taken that low, but I just saw all the liquidity that you marked on the higher time frame. So I think it was in this around this area, maybe.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, that was my second entry. And I just thought we've pulled into that higher time frame liquidity block. Yeah, there you go. You can see it. Perfect. So it was there, bang, stop entry, stop loss, and then I was just targeting first target there and all the way down.
Yeah, I mean those type of entries I personally don't take.
Yeah.
Like because there's so many times where something like this would happen, and then it'll come here, and then it'll come from my stop loss, and then there you go. So
Yeah.
those type of entries is just a little too risky for me, or I'd say a little too aggressive for me, to be taking. But yeah, that is it for Nas on Wednesday. And then yes, I took this long. I took these longs. So I'll actually break this down. Okay, so I hopped onto the markets and I seen this intact right here. And I said, okay, well, if stock open can kind of move price above here, that would be really nice because that was also this high right here was the previous 4 hour high. Okay, and actually exactly where I drew out was the previous 4 hour high. So pretty much we got this huge imbalance above as well. So I seen this as well too. So we got that. Boom. Got your liquidity block above. So yeah, stock opens, it comes and takes out the low. Okay. So once it takes out the low, I was waiting for those highs too. Yeah. I think you were talking about this, right, Adam? But yeah. Anyhow, yes, bro. Yeah. So this PA, 9:30 open, took out the lows. Now, I was like, okay, we got a lot of liquidity here. I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna do like I'm not trying to get induced into selling too early. So I waited for this high to get taken out. And like I mentioned, I always usually look for this 4-hour thing to get taken out. So like for example here, same concept. Let me just delete all this. Yeah, I like to see the 4-hour high get taken out before I look for any sort of short. Same thing goes here. 4-hour high right here. So unfortunately, just takes it out. Okay, not unfortunately. It was actually really good. It did that. Took out the low. Okay, induces sellers, and now all this is a trap, right? All these highs right here. We got this. We got all these highs. Basically, any reactions out of here, it's just false. And yeah, pretty much. After that, I seen this right here. Let me just go with the 1 minute time frame. Yes. So 9:30 opens up, comes here, takes whatever over here, and then moves lower. And then you got this low being printed. Market moves higher. And I got this right here. I had this marked out. Boom. And then I was waiting for a trap above the liquidity block, right? So this whole area is a trap, essentially. And then we got this happening. Boom, BOS to the upside. There you go. Even gives reactions out of there. Okay, prints these highs, moves lower. And I entered exactly right here. And pretty much kept myself below here. And then targeted the highs. Honestly, simple move to be honest. I did scale in over here, and I'll explain that in a second. 4R right there. Yeah, so that's a short. I believe Elijah took that short, or forgot who took it. But
Damn it, did he? Because I was looking at that, and obviously Marco, because in the mentorship with him, he's like, "Oh, I've taken along," and like went into it, and I was like, "Damn, I really like the short," but when it took that low, it kind of put me off. Because obviously, then when it took the low, you were looking to long, but then I was like, "It's taken that low to the left, so I'm not looking to short anymore." And then it played out, and I was like,
oh,
"Shit."
okay. No. So basically, for me, I was still looking for shorts, right? Um, I really like this high getting taken out. Like I mentioned, this is the previous 4-hour high, and I like to see basically what I like to see is like, let's say there's like a 4-hour high over here. I like to see price action kind of build some sort of liquidity up there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then once it takes that out, and if there's like some sort of liquidity block or imbalance or whatever, if there's an imbalance, I have to wait for more PA, something like that, and then take shorts if I'm looking for shorts. Obviously vice versa if I'm looking for longs. But if there's some sort of liquidity block over here, I wouldn't mind taking it from right there to the lows, especially
damn.
because yeah, I don't know, I just look for that 4-hour high.
No, it's good
And there
show.
you go. That was the 4-hour high right here. And then also, I mean, this was very, very intricate, but I mean, it came all the way to the extreme, which is pretty nice to see. Came all the way right here.
I think 15M's clean.
Yeah, let me just turn it blue because there you go. Oh, There you go. Came all the way for that. For these highs right here. Literally taps into that liquidity block and just dies. Right. So I was looking for shorts initially. And I really wanted shorts. But then the market gave me this. I took the longs, caught a 1 to 4, and then I just called it a day. Yeah, I hopped off by then. I was getting what? Yeah, caught a nice move. And I was like, okay, I'm chilling. And then I hopped off. And obviously the short played out, but essentially this was the short I wanted to take the entire time. But yeah, no, the short was super valid because I mean, look at it this way, right? You got your BOS to the downside. This is honestly the most simplest short you can find. BOS to the downside. You got an imbalance here as well, you know, give you a little bit of confluence. Liquidity block above. And then sellers get trapped over here. Okay. Sellers get trapped. That would be entry, stop loss above, and then taking it straight to the lows. But yeah, so the longs over here, I already explained it. It was really nice. And as soon as that happened and it hit TP, I was good to just head off. I don't really look for like I don't like to look for too many moves in a day. I'll catch one move and just call it a day. It's good enough for me. And yeah, pretty much that's what happens. Sell off actually occurs right from that liquidity block. As I marked out, like when I hopped onto the charts, this is exactly what I wanted, right? It's short from here, stop loss above. Now it took out the low, which is actually better for us. Because it induces more sellers. And then we also got all the liquidity. I mean, we got this here. We got a shit ton of liquidity to the downside, right? We got that there. You got this as well. So yeah, there's just a lot of liquidity to the downside. So it makes sense why shorts were valid and very nice. But yeah, this was the short from here all the way to the lows. If I was trading FX, I would probably take it, like leave a limit here, and then stops above and just hold it straight to the lows, especially because I have a personal account, so pretty much. But yeah, not bad. And that's about it. The short happens from there. Pretty nice. All the way to the lows. Yeah, target wise, I would be taking partials here. If people get confused about targets, I always mention taking partials at structural highs and lows. You got your structural low over here. It gives you a nice 1 to 5. And then you got this as well. And you got this as well. Oh, just took the whole thing with me. And then yeah, you got these lows as well, right? Pretty nice move, honestly. That's for Thursday. Friday, unfortunately, I was waiting for that honestly. I don't even know what to say. I was waiting for this. I got very married to this high being taken out. We got liquidity block above as well. But I mean, there was all this here, honestly. It was a hard one for me, I'm not gonna lie. We got this. Yeah, so this is what happens, right? So we got the low being respected right here. Okay. So you see this bullish move out of there. I kind of wanted the high to get taken out, and then we got this liquidity block above, right?
So that's essentially what I wanted. Didn't happen, so I couldn't take the shorts, even though I wanted to short. I don't know. Yeah, I wanted to short Nas. Because I woke up, I looked at it, I was like, yeah, Nas looks very, very clean for shorts. Unfortunately, just no, like not no entry for me. Because we got all this taken out to lows. I mean, these lows get taken out. So I basically said, okay, if it engineers liquidity to the downside and takes out this high over here, we got a nice liquidity block above. That would be a nice little short all the way to the lows. Fortunately, that said, yeah, you're not getting into this. And that's what ends up happening. That is it for Nas. And what a move, honestly. What a move. Wow. All right, that's it for Nas. I remember someone saying check something out. What was it again? Was it BTC? Can't remember. Yeah, no problem. Is he still here? Guys, let me know if you want me to go over any other price action. If not, just call it a day here. I do remember someone saying to watch, I mean to take a look at something else, but I can't really remember. Let me just scroll up. Okay. Have a nice weekend. I guess I'll just end it here. Yeah, pretty much. I will see you guys. No problem. I'll see you guys next webinar or next weekend. Hopefully, I could be more active throughout the week. And yeah, no problem, no problem. I will end it there. Have a nice weekend, guys.